Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this video. Bit of a different one here today. We just seen one of the most embarrassing losses, if not the most embarrassing loss, from the Boston Bruins this season. Now, I wasn't going to make a video on this game here tonight. I was going to wait till tomorrow morning. Didn't get the opportunity to watch the full game, but I really seen all I needed to in this horrible loss to the Washington Capitals. In a game where they had 16 shots, one game before the playoffs, they lose to this Washington Capitals team 2-0. And I needed to voice my concern, my anger here in this video, and I'm going to let you guys do the same thing here in the comments. So, like I said, let me know what you guys think about this. Obviously, this was a horrible game. This is going to be one to look back on, depending on whatever happens in the playoffs. But I'm going to talk about this game here. You know, I kind of want, like I said, I want to voice my frustration. I really want to see what you guys think, because this game just not acceptable at this point in the season. But, you know, before we get into it, I'm not going to go too much into this. Make sure to hit the sub button. Just about 81% of you guys aren't subscribed. If you want to get all the Boston Bruins news, you know you're in the right spot. Make sure to hit the sub button. Join me along here. We're going to cover what this playoffs could be, whatever this is. Whether it's 5 more games left for this team this season, or whether by some odds they go to the Stanley Cup Finals. But make sure to hit the sub button. I'll keep you up to date with all of the news for this team has to offer. But, like I said, this is ridiculous. This is completely unacceptable at this point in the season. From what we've seen the past few months from this Boston Bruins team, after the All-Star break, after the trade deadline, not really finding their way through this season, they could not really get that groove. A few weeks ago, a few games ago, they really had this momentum seemingly back after a 4-5 game win streak, and this loss here tonight kind of wiped that completely out of consideration, out of anything that we had in mind, this team looking like they turned it around. But this is the stat chart here. You know, there's a pretty big discrepancy here. The offense is not there. The defense was there for some players, but a majority of this team really had no effort at all. No offense on this team whatsoever. Nobody seemed to want it. Nobody acknowledged that this could be a game deciding for the playoffs, so who they're going to play, whether it's Florida, whether it's Toronto. Maybe they wanted to play Toronto, maybe they wanted to lose it, and maybe they didn't want to sit any players to get some cold feet and not be ready for the playoffs. But from what I've seen in this game, I don't care who they play. I really couldn't care who they play. They will not win if they play like this, and that's no excuse. That is absolutely fact. That is exactly what will happen if this Boston Bruins team plays like this against whatever team they play in the playoffs. They could play a house league team. They would lose if they played like this. There was zero effort. Pat Maroon, one guy I wanted to talk about here. I'm sure many of you have seen the clip, the highlight of it or whatnot, or a low light, I guess you could say. Down below the net, zero effort on the puck. Was not pinning it against the boards. He just had it on a stick. Got it taken away from him. It could have been by an infant. He would have lost that puck. And he's not making a great case to be in a playoff lineup right now, and certainly is not going to be in this lineup if this does continue into next game. One more game to prove himself. If not, I think he cannot be in this lineup. But I'm going to pull up here the game stats, as you can see. 16 shots, 50 hits. I don't care about the hits. I don't care about the hits in this situation. Washington 25 shots, and Jeremy Swayman was the only guy on this team that could really keep them into this. If Jeremy Swayman was not in the net, this game would have been 5-6-7-0. And it's just the way it is. I'm at a loss for words here to describe this game. It's not, I know I'm repeating myself, and I know that this is what all you guys are thinking as well, but it's just completely unacceptable at this point in the season. What we've seen from this team, the lack of effort, and I know Washington has something to fight for. They're fighting their way into a wild card spot, and they played well. I got to commend them for that. You've got to give credit where credit is due. They had a lot more fight than the Boston Bruins tonight. They wanted it way more than the Bruins did, because the Bruins didn't want it at all. And it's just ridiculous to see at this point in the season. I'm going to pull this one up as well here. As you can see, these are the standings right now. Next game, Florida can go up into the first in the Atlantic, meaning that the Boston Bruins, we would play Toronto. I'm not sure if this is what they were intending to do. I'm not sure if this is what this game was a result in. It is what they were trying to lose to try and get a Boston Bruins, a Toronto Maple Leafs matchup instead of the Tampa Bay Lightning. But either way, like I said earlier, it doesn't matter who they play. Whoever they play here, if they play like this, will be a loss. I know I've been saying too, I fully believe in this team. I believe that this team, if playing to the best of their abilities, could go on a deep playoff run against all odds. Losing Krejci and Bergeron, I know those were two hard-hitting losses, but Charlie Coyle and Pavel Zacha have really stepped up in the positions that they need to in this season. And I know many people are doubting me, and I can agree with this. You know, I know that my take is a bit wild, that this team could definitely go on a big playoff run if they play to the best potential that they could. But after this game, I really don't know if that's what this team wants to do. It don't look like this team wants to go to the playoffs and want to get a Stanley Cup, especially from this game. We've seen some okay games as of late, some better games, like I said, on that win streak they had about 2 weeks ago. But then we've also seen some really bad games, but not as bad as this one that we've seen tonight. So it really depends on what this team wants to do at this point. They hold the playoffs in their hands next game, whether they want it to be against the Tampa Bay Lightning, whether they want it to be against the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I really don't think it matters at this point. The Toronto Maple Leafs would be a better matchup, I guess you could say, from the history. Toronto being, you know, always inside their head in the playoffs and whatnot. Tampa still being a great team, especially a playoff team. But from what we've seen here, I don't think that anything good will result from that, no matter who they play. Especially after this game, and I'm really sick of seeing the Boston Bruins team do this. You know, we sit here and watch these games, wanting this team to win, wanting everybody on this team to do good. We know this is not the best team the Bruins have had as of late in these past few years. This is kind of an odd year for the Bruins, but what a scene it would be for this team to go and do something against all odds with a bunch of players that are filling in some roles, earning their spot in an NHL roster permanently after this season, and we've seen some players do that, Danton Heinen being one of them. He's been a fantastic player this year, had to earn his way into an NHL roster spot this season, and now he's a guy the Boston Bruins are depending on in these playoffs. I'm not talking about him in specific, about this game or whatnot, but it just goes to show how much this team is against the odds, and fighting for the odds, and if they play like this is the team that we could have seen all season. If they had given zero effort, they don't care at all about what's going to happen this season, they just wasted it away. But this team, I still do believe that they can do this if they wanted to. I still believe that this team can go for a playoff run if they want to. But after this game, this really brought my spirits down, is the best way to say it. But we still have one more game left, and this is going to be a real telltale sign of what this team decides to do in the playoffs. They could have 5 games left, the regular season one, and then get swept in the first round. If they wanted to do that, they play like they do tonight, but this team should have a wake-up call from this game and think about what they want to do, think about what they did wrong. And it's easier said than done, but these guys are professionals. They're some of the best players in the NHL on this Boston Bruins team, and they need to turn this around. So, like I said, let me know what you think about this game. This was ridiculous. Voice your frustration, like I said in the comments. I'll be looking at all of them. I'm in the same boat as all of you guys, seeing this game and just completely losing my mind, to be honest with you. But that's all I got here for this video. If you did enjoy, make sure to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you do want to stay up to date with all the Boston Bruins news. I'll be keeping you up to date, whether it be 5 games left. The offseason is going to be a very good one, regardless. So, you know, that's all I got, like I said. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.